Hey everyone, welcome to another video One Piece related. This is going to be talking about what we now know about at least about the current chapter of One Piece and possibly the future, and what I want to see out of Crocodile in terms of like him if he were to show up at this point in time. Now let's get on the Crocodile stuff before we get into the more in depth about what's going on in the One Piece manga. I really want Crocodile to show back up, and considering now we're now dealing with Vivi and Alabasta Kingdom, and plus the fact that she was a part of Crocodile's crew at one point in time. She has experiences of being a pirate. It'd be really awesome for her to show back up again, but then again, thinking about that now, saying that out loud, it's kind of stupid because, well, if he were to show back up again, he would recognize Vivi and out her for being a pirate, which would probably put her into a lot of trouble, especially since her family knows of the fact that she was a pirate just to save their lives. But being a pirate might be a big offense to being a queen. Especially since the fact that, she has stated that she doesn't want to marry any of the suitors that her father picked out for her. A lot of people are speculating that, like, Vivi might end up with Luffy. And I really don't even know. I guess she could marry him, but it's like at the same time, Luffy doesn't seem like the type of guy who's interested in marriage right now. Then again, you never know, because, like, Luffy is, like, 19 right now? Yeah, I wouldn't say he's 19, because he started his journey when he was 17. But it's kind of awesome that Crocodile showed up. Because another thing is, I know a lot of people talk about like certain people they want to see come back, but Crocodile never seems to be one of them. Actually, another villains seem to be part of the group of people want to see back. I really want to see Crocodile come back because of a couple of things. First of all, I'm not sure if a lot of people even remember this, but Crocodile has stated that there is some similarities between him and Luffy. Specifically, similarities that Crocodile said that he was a lot like Luffy when he was younger. Now, that intrigued me so much. It really intrigued me so much. Because Crocodile doesn't seem like the type of guy who relies a lot on emotion and just doing things when they come. He seems to be a calculative man who really only does things that benefit him only at the time they're beneficial for him. And I mean by that, like look at Alabasta. He almost successfully took over that kingdom. He only failed. He only failed because Luffy got involved. That's the only reason why he failed. And even then, he was still mopping the floor of Luffy. The only reason he lost is because Luffy's blood landed on him, and liquid is his weakness, which makes a lot of sense because his powers completely go away when he goes into water. But it's like, to me, like, that has got to be the most successful sting operation I've ever seen. This man managed to go into the Alabasta, take it over from the bottom up. He became the top dog in that area. Pretty much, he also prevented it from raining by having a sand cloud cover the entire kingdom. If that doesn't speak volumes about the power that Crocodile had at that time, I don't know what will. And considering that he had that ability back then, he went to Impel Down and sat there till he got out with the help of Ivankov. Which, by the way, Ivankov and Crocodile have a history together. Well, not together, but they know of each other, and apparently Ivankov knows something about Crocodile that we don't know, which is kind of cool. I would love to be able to see what that secret is, because it seems really random that they would bring it up. Oda has a habit of not saying something and making it come to pass. So we're going to see a lot of what that's going to do with. Like, my biggest thing is I just love to see Crocodile, because Crocodile's my favorite villain, and if he comes back and he has to be a villain, sure, I'd just be happy that he's back. But I would be happier if maybe he came in and he was more like a side guy who just showed up. Maybe he could help Luffy again. You never know. Because Crocodile stated he has no interest in taking over Alabasta. But does that mean does he want anybody else to take it over? Is it one of those situations where I can't have it? Why would I let someone else do it? So he would become like a pseudo savior, like maybe an anti-villain, well, not anti-hero in terms of like. He does what he wants, and he's not going to consider it saving. He's not going to consider it taking over. He's just neutral with it. Because I could see him being a really powerful ally to Luffy, especially since Crocodile has saved Luffy before. He saved him during the Great Marineford incident. Luffy would have died there if it wasn't for Crocodile. There's a lot of instances in which Crocodile, he doesn't have to be a hero. He doesn't even have to be an anti-hero. He could just be a guy there who just happens to help Luffy out. Now, I will say that like Luffy and Crocodile are at odds with each other. They don't like each other. The only reason why Crocodile even helped him is because he was threatened by Ivankov. So, Ivankov, like, without Ivankov there, I don't even think Luffy will have any bearing over him in terms of like, because he, as long as he doesn't have Ivankov there, he's fine to do what he wants. To say heck no. But it's like I just really want to see Crocodile come back, and if he does come back in some type of role that I don't expect him to come back in, I would love it. It'd be kind of a cool way to bring him in, especially since we're now dealing with Alabasta. He's connected to that incident, so I mean, him coming in wouldn't be random and out of the question. But that's what I just want to say. That's what my deal with Crocodile. Now, with the current One Piece chapter, I am surprised that we're dealing with the Reverie right now. I kind of came into the One Piece manga a little bit very late. I don't exactly know what chapter they talked about the Reverie first, but I was aware of it for some time, and now we're dealing with it, and I'm like, okay, so now this thing is held every 4 years, and the kings and the queens of each kingdom come together to Marijoa to discuss the future of the world. Now we got people like the Nefertari clan. I don't know how you pronounce it. The Nefertari clan. Apparently, the current king wants to show up there to ask about the Void Century. That is interesting, and when he brought that up, and I was reading on what he was saying, it brought up something interesting that I guess I never thought about it too much. Is I was always connecting the world government's misdeeds in the Void Century to the fact that that's the reason why they don't want people knowing about them. But now thinking about it, he said he wants to find out what his predecessor did in those missing 100 years. This leads me to believe that it isn't just the government's misdeeds, the kingdom's leaders and their misdeeds. In terms of like the current generation of the kingdom leaders, their predecessors, what did they do in that Void Century? And it makes you think that maybe it wasn't the government that outlawed it. It was the kings and the queens. They have the power above the government to set something into stone and make it has to be the law. Kings and queens, because and any type of like not dictatorship, I guess it's kind of a dictatorship, but not really. I forgot the exact wording, the exact word for what I want to say. Is it oligarchy? I think it's oligarchy, in a type of king ruling, sort of way, like not sort of in a king ruled land, king or queen, royalty ruled land. So I want to say royalty ruled land. Kings and queens are the highs. That's as high as you go in those types of kingdoms, and you can only get into those kingdoms if you are born into the family. So you can never aspire like you can in America to become the leader because you have to be born into it. So they kind of live in a destiny type of thing where as long as you're born into this kingdom and you're born into the family that rules, you are guaranteed to be the next prince, the next king or queen, depending on what gender you are, of that kingdom. So in a sense, it makes people think that I wonder what they did. Like, what's so bad in that century, in that 100 years that they did, that they don't want no one to find out. So it's interesting to find out that the king wants to know why Robin wants to know this so much, and Robin actually was the main reason why he's even doing this, because he when Robin first brought up the fact that no matter what she does, this type of like research affords her too many enemies. I'm pretty sure the king knows at this point that if he does ask, he's going to be made a target. I mean, this is how it works. He's going to be made a target. So I don't know if he's really willing to ask the government to allow him access to what happened. And if they do, what will that do to the king? I mean, will he actually completely betray Robin now and tell her that she is not allowed to, and he will make sure that she will never get to knowing what's in that hidden 100 years, because Robin wants to really know. And actually, ever since he brought that up, I'm always curious too, because I was like, when he first brought it up, it just seems so mysterious to bring up 100 missing years. And in history of today, like if 100 years are missing or something like that, or history is missing, they let you know that history is missing, but they never tell you to never research it, because like no one else could find it. That's just how it works. Like, if it's missing, it's missing. That's just how it works. Like, you can't, like, if it's missing, you cannot find anything about it. There's no records hidden. There's no records anywhere of what happened in those missing years. But in One Piece, missing doesn't necessarily mean that no record exists. The records exist. You're not allowed to research them. So that tells me that there are books around the One Piece world that tell small tidbits what happened in the 100 years. So it'd be really interesting to find out if all those books are actually located in Marijoa. At least now, because they burnt the knowledge tree down, so I'm pretty sure there must have been something there. Because why would you burn a random tree down? But yeah, like you got all these kings stuff showing up, and it just seems really random, you know. Now, well, not random. It just seems so kind of cool to bring in the revelry and all these kingdoms, and a lot of these kingdoms are actually kind of called, especially the Fishman Island. There's a princess there. It makes a lot of sense. So like the princess is gonna show up. Well, I hope she does. Well, I guess she will. She has to because she's kind of like the leader right now. Her mother's dead. Sure, Hoshi's mother's dead. You got other kingdoms, apparently the Kano Kingdom, which I don't think I recognize anybody from the Kano Kingdom, because I don't think we've ever seen the Kano Kingdom. Wano's not gonna participate in because they're an isolationist society, so they don't cooperate with everybody else. But like this chapter and just like what the future is gonna hold, it's gonna be really freaking cool. I guess a lot of people are saying that maybe we're gonna see a lot more of this in the future when Luffy has to loop around, so we might not be seeing any more of the revelry until then. Also, Oda has a habit of like letting events happen and then letting them happen as other events are happening. Like for instance, like 2 weeks ago in that One Piece world, you know, Blackbeard was heading towards Baltigo. Now we know at the end of this chapter that I suspected as much. Baltigo's been taken down. Like it's nothing but ruins. So like Blackbeard went ham in there. I don't know what's gonna happen now. Now that we know that Baltigo's been taken down, we also got to figure out what Robin's reaction is gonna be to this, because she was there for 2 years, so she knows the people over there, and we might have to get some explanation towards why, you know, Robin has never stated anything to Luffy about having met his father. You gotta know why, because it doesn't make much sense for Robin to keep that hidden from Luffy. Maybe because Luffy doesn't really care much about his father, but that still doesn't make it right for her to keep secrets from him. That, you know, in the 2 years that, you know, she went missing from the crew, she was with them. So it just seems so random to me to think that that's what's happening. Is like, you know, Robin's withholding information. Then again, none of the Straw Hats are really revealing where they were for the last 2 years. So it's really funny that, you know, they go to these places, but they don't explain what they went through to get certain things. I mean, like not Robin, but Nami came back with a more powerful climb attack from going to Weatheria. Usopp got the pop greens from the island that he landed on with Heracles. Chopper learned how to tap into his abilities on that caveman island he went on to. I think actually he landed on the Goa Kingdom. The Goa Kingdom. I'm thinking about it. Actually, not thinking about it. He actually did land on the Goa Kingdom, didn't he? He was either that or he landed on some type of other island, but I think he landed on the Goa Kingdom. It was interesting to think that there's a lot of cavemen there. We got some information. We got the kings, queens. We now know that we're gonna be seeing Kobe. Not Kobe. We're gonna be seeing. Dang it! I can't believe I forgot his name already. He was so freaking awesome. Why am I gonna call him Kobe? He's not. His name is not Kobe. I want to call him Roy. Why am I blanking on his name so hard right now? It's Luffy's third brother. Dang it, now I'm gonna get called out and be called stupid. I don't mean it. Why? He's one of my favorite characters. Forgot his name. This is gonna bug me. No. Now I gotta look this up, and I don't know why I was freaking out on camera. Whatever. I can't think of the name of his, let me see. Ace, Luffy, Sabo. Why did I blank on his name so hard? We now have seen Sabo's stepbrother or younger brother. We don't see his face, so that leads me to believe one or two things, because he was an ugly-looking kid. I am sorry for anybody who actually likes Stelly. He was an ugly, mean kid. I am sorry. So I don't know what he looks like now. That's just one or two things. He might look normal now, or he might even look uglier. I am sorry. It's like he was just not. And it's Oda's style. Just I don't know. I didn't know he could actually make a character look ugly until like now. It was very weird to me. But we're encroaching on 15 minutes here. That's what I wanted to say. Like in the future, we're going to see a lot more stuff with like the Revelry, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in terms of like what's going to happen with the the Abasa King. I feel like he might be killed. He seems too ill right now. So like he can't fight back if he even has the ability to fight. Vivi will have to out herself as a pirate, or have been a pirate at one point in her life, because she was on a cruise. She was on a cruise ship. She was Miss Wednesday, I think was her name was. It was her name was either like Wednesday or like Holiday or something. I forgot what her code name was. It's been so long since I actually watched the scene. And now like I actually am mostly just a pure anime watcher of One Piece. But I have found myself, because I don't really read Naruto anymore because Naruto ended, and I don't read Bleach. I found myself reading One Piece now, so yeah, that takes care of that. I guess the next episode, the next video that will go up will either be the next Mega Man episode I have recorded or something else. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you next time. Bye!